I'm hoping everybody has already heard about what's been going on with Ghislaine Maxwell, where she basically said that she never saw Donald Trump do anything inappropriate at all with anyone. Ghislaine Maxwell, not Ghislaine. Why did I say Ghislaine? Fucking hell. Why did I have my girlfriend in the room here to correct me as I do things? Never do that. Never be with women. I said what I said. So, Ghislaine Maxwell is lying. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. She's definitely lying about whether or not she watched Donald Trump do anything inappropriate. Also, she deemed it appropriate to traffic children. So I don't know if I'm willing to take her word on what she thinks is appropriate. This is a giant nothing burger, but there are some bits from the interview that my editor wanted me to take a look at. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. Let's go ahead and take a listen to what we have. But first, I do want to quickly go into the fan art section because, well, I need to tell you guys a story. So, I was playing Final Fantasy on stream, and there is a very voluptuous female in one of the older Final Fantasies hanging from a ceiling. And, well, my audience caught me gooning. They caught me gooning to her. So, axolotls with cream, I said, finally finished this, no nipples, so it's safe for work. Holy fucking shit. That's a lot of slime dripping. Holy fucking shit. To the point where Saki just popped out from her little hovel and just said, oh my. So, that's when you know, there's some good shit on screen. As always, thank you for your fan art support, even if it is affectionately making fun of me gooning after enemies in Final Fantasy. That's entirely okay. But if you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. And I just noticed that there is bulge right here and here. So yeah, this slime girl's thick as fuck. No female presenting nipples. Right, no female presenting nipples. If you guys want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it in the fan art section of the Discord. There, I got it out of the way and done. Okay, now let's take a listen to some bits from this interview.
I'm definitely not disputing that. But this was a man, he didn't even believe he had a real business. I happen to believe he did. Did he grip? I don't know, because I wasn't really in his business. But this is a one man. He's not some, they've made him into this he's not that interesting. He's a disgusting guy who did terrible things to young kids. You're not going to hear me say what he did to people who are over the age of 18. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go there. That's just not what I'm here.
You were the one who actively allowed it to happen, though. Like, don't do the whole, I'm not going to talk about what he did with older people. What he did with kids was disgusting. You didn't think it was disgusting when you were enabling it. Anyway.
I mean, okay. But to suggest that Larry Summers or Clinton would suddenly go, oh my gosh, this is like a guy, I'm going to get my body rubbed and have some sex. The men that went and had a massage and maybe did something sexual? The men. I wasn't in the room. I cannot tell you if that happened. And if it did, I never paid for that, just so that we're clear. Nobody ever said to me, oh, you know, we had sexual intercourse and that's if it was a three. I'll be like, okay, TMI. No, not my business. You want to, it's just not. And I didn't want to know. No.
God, she does not sound sane. I'm sorry, but Maxwell does not sound like a stable person in this interview. At all. At all.
Maybe there's that. But did I think these guys were coming for that? I really don't. If you met Epstein, there is no way that this cast of characters, of which it's extraordinary, some of you in your cabinet who you value as your co-workers and you know would be with him if he was a...
So did you guys hear that? I'm just going to rewind just a little bit so you could hear it and get it.
Did I, think these guys were coming for that? I really don't. If you met Epstein, there is no way that this cast of characters, of which it's extraordinary, some of you in your cabinet who you value as your co-workers and you...
This cast of people who were hanging around with Epstein, who you wouldn't have thought would have been there, some of which were in your cabinet.
No, would be with him if he was a creep or because they wanted sexual favors. A man wants sexual favors, he will find that. They didn't have to come to Epstein for that. Now, did some... Okay, I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see it.
So when's the last time you think you were...
I like how that's just completely skirted. Ah, yeah, you're right. You did just imply that a bunch of members from Trump's cabinet have all been to Epstein Isle. That's what you've basically just thrown out there into the aether. And we're just not going to follow up on that. We're just not going to follow up on that. Steigander says, we know JFK or RFK Jr. was. I mean, he was a Kennedy. I'm not surprised that he would get, special permission for certain shit like that at all.
With Mr. Epstein when he got a massage?
I want to say 2007.
2007?
Yes.
And the frequency at that point, so 2007, is that when it was at its peak, would you say? Meaning the number of interactions he was having daily with women and masseuses?
So I wasn't really in his life. I happened to be in the Caribbean in 2000. I was with Ted.
Okay.
And I was still speaking with Epstein because I was still involved in his, loosely with his, the houses and the staff and some of the billing. And I was going back from being with Ted in the Caribbean to New York, and Epstein offered me a ride, and so Ted dropped me off in St. Thomas, and I was on the island, I believe, for one day and one night only.
Only one day and one night.
I believe, well, I know you would have gotten a massage, but I have, there were people there, but I did not, there were women, and I was just relieved not to be leaving the next day.
Let's take a break.
We're going to take a break.
So don't worry. She may have been one of the ones that helped enable all this shit, but she was so relieved. She was so relieved to be leaving the island the next day. I think the big thing, though, for me is just listening to that very quick, some of the people in your cabinet, just implicates all of them, and then right afterwards, interviewer just goes, let me pivot to something else. Let me just pivot to something else real quick. If I pivot to something else, maybe people won't focus on this part of the record, despite the fact that it's, on the record, and we can just listen to the audio of Maxwell saying that a bunch of people in Trump's cabinet were frequenters of the fucking island. This whole thing is wild and just, I don't have words for it other than disgusting. It's disgusting watching her try to get off. Not, obviously we're talking about a guy who got sensual massages and was effectively a rapist, but I'm not talking about that here, specifically. Get off in a different sense. Not that sense, you weird fucks. This is a woman who is trying to get off. She is trying to get off of all of the bad things that she has done. She is trying to get off from being punished for those things. She wants a pardon from Trump. She accidentally slips that Trump's cabinet frequented the fucking place. But you can tell that this is a woman who, based on the other stuff that you've probably heard from the interview, Really, really wants a pardon from Trump. Oh, I never saw Trump do anything weird. I never saw him do anything inappropriate. Again, ignore the fact that I'm the last person you should be asking about what is or is not appropriate. Sean says the QAnon people are just so jealous about that. Oh yeah, no, the QAnon people are they are rolling around right now because that conspiracy that they desperately wanted to be proved was not proved in the positive for them. Like, we found one of the big pedophile rings, and it was not what QAnon was arguing it was going to be the entire time. And instead of Trump being the savior of the children, Trump's one of the fucking predators for them. And Epstein's predator-in-chief is just trying desperately to not stay rotting in jail. I'm surprised she's still alive in jail, honestly. But there are some other snippets that K-Fox wanted me to listen to real quick.
We are resuming the audio recorded proffer agreement with Ms. Maxwell, and the time is 11:49 a.m.
All right.
Okay?
I wanted to follow up about former President Clinton's relationship with Mr. Epstein, not you. Can you, we touched on it, but can you just set I have a couple questions about it, but what's your understanding of their relationship from what you observed? Meaning
let's dig into the Clintons, I guess.
Mr. Epstein.
I saw them talk. I saw them sit down and have chats about, I don't know, I wasn't either party or didn't listen.
Let's just focus on on Epstein. Let's focus on Epstein with the Clintons now. So to be honest with the Epstein, her would launch his base back into an anti-Trump spiral again. Yeah, just imagine something happens to Maxwell. Just imagine something happens to somebody like Maxwell after what already happened to Epstein. Like, whether or not you believe Epstein killed himself, if it happened twice, that would be really fucking suspicious. It really would be. So after doing the dig into the Clintons, we got some more stuff.
And I know I would characterize, originally anyway, Mr. Epstein's interested in him because obviously he's the former president. But I never saw him, other than that, I saw them be friendly on the plane, but I don't believe, I don't recollect anyway, ever seeing them in any other context. I don't remember him at his house in New York. Like I said, I don't believe he ever went to the island. I think that was just that was a story that did.
Do you know
That's
one way or the
redacted.
other whether their relationship continued without you, like when you kind of moved on past Mr. Epstein?
I don't believe so.
Why do you say that you don't believe so?
Because I don't think they had a relationship even when I was there. President Clinton liked me, and we got along terribly well. But I never saw that warmth, or that warmth, like however you want to characterize it, with Mr. Epstein and Mr. So I didn't see that. I didn't see any interest in. I didn't see President Clinton being interested in Epstein. He was just a rich guy with a plane.
When the Southern District of New York case kind of became public and there was a search warrant of Mr. Epstein's house, there was some sort of painting or picture with Mr. Clinton in like a blue dress that had been signed. Do you know where he got that picture or that painting?
First I saw it was in the press.
So you never observed that in his
No.
brownstone?
No. I thought it was hideous.
Distributor, thank you for
What's
the
that again?
follow.
I thought it was hideous.
Or Sister Demeter.
But you had
Thank you
never,
for
so
the
you don't
follow.
know, sitting here today, where Mr. Epstein got it,
No.
the circumstance in which he got it.
No.
Do you know of any other gifts or paraphernalia or art or pictures that former President Clinton gave to Mr. Epstein?
No. I mean, did he maybe get him a gift? I don't know. I have no knowledge of that.
And then, going back to the topic we were talking about before our last break.
Jet, no, she's talking about the friendship with Clinton, not with Trump. The friendship with Clinton is what she was saying. I don't think that there actually was one. Clinton's a bit of an interesting one Because everybody wants to always prove that the Clintons are evil, the Clintons are corrupt, the Clintons are bad. And, like, don't get me wrong, anybody with as much influence in politics as the Clintons is obviously more likely to engage in shitty behavior than not. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to find evidence, Epstein-style evidence, where they're concerned. Steigander says, but it did happen. It also happened to Jean-Luc Brunel. Okay, but the problem with Jean-Luc Brunel is that if you talk to the average normie, they aren't going to have any clue who the hell that is. You mentioned Maxwell, they're going to know exactly who that is. Maxwell. Maxwell is one of the ones that ultimately is going to be looked at with a side eye if a convenient suicide were to happen there. Steigander says Brunel was as much a key player, but he was not a well-known model for them. Yeah, that's the thing, though. Like, conspiracy theorists can grab onto anything, but your general media, your general people, they are going to care about the names that they already know and understand. They're going to care about the names they already know and understand.
Well, when you said something yesterday at the very beginning of our conversation, that when you first met Mr. Epstein, and you ultimately have sex with him, that he had, I'll use the word erectile dysfunction, but he had issues having sex.
That's what he told me.
That's what he told you?
Yes.
Okay. And then over the years, you said sometime in the 90s you started taking testosterone.
Yes. Well, I don't know if it was in the 90s. I don't remember when he started, but it wasn't, he had patches, testosterone patches.
Okay.
Dermal.
Like on his arm?
Yes.
Okay.
And then he was ridiculous because you shouldn't take more than one, but sometimes he had, like, well, I'm like, what are you doing? It's, like, unhealthy.
Okay. From what you observed or saw or heard, did he continue to have challenges sexually over the years, or do you think that whatever he told you, whatever issue he told you he had, was fixed?
I think it was a lie.
You think he was lying about what?
About his erectile dysfunction.
Oh, you mean you never, you don't think he ever had any issues? You think he just told you that?
That is what I believe today, yes. But given, if any of the stories are true, he couldn't have had erectile dysfunction. The thing had a priapus, for Christ's sake.
Well, that's one of the reasons for my questions. I mean, you're right. I mean, and again, we've talked about this a fair amount, but what did, like, the stories of what masseuses underage and overage have said about him are, you know, and what he liked, or what he demanded that they do, whether it's watching him masturbate or pinching his nipples, you know, kind of things that are unusual.
Yeah, guys, what you walked into, Zamian, was Ghislaine Maxwell explaining the erectile dysfunction or not erectile dysfunction of Jeffrey Epstein, and how he wanted masseuses to pinch his nipples. That's what you walked in on.
Do you believe that? Like, do you, from what you saw and from what you observed, from what you did when you were in a relationship with him, is that true?
Well, the bulk of what I read, he did not have sex. So that is consistent with what he told me, actually. And his masturbating, that is also consistent with what I knew myself. And I'm going to use a bad word.
Please, you can use whatever word you need, yes.
Blowjob.
Okay.
He liked blowjobs.
Okay.
Can you imagine being an adult who enabled pedophilia under your watch, but you refuse to say the word blowjob because it's a bad word? What a fucking clown! What a goddamn clown! Like, obviously we're talking about a monster, but what kind of a clown enables the raping of children and then... Can I say a bad word? Blowjob. Blowjob. It's a bad word. I'll get in trouble with Daddy Pooh if I say it. Blowjob. Kiwi Bird says, it's decorum to talk about a blowjob as uncouth in that manner. Yeah, it's decorum, but fucking letting kids get raped was also decorum. Just the standards of these people is wild to me. We must be prim and proper as the rapes happen.
I did observe. and he didn't seem to have any erectile dysfunction for blowjobs, but sex he didn't have. So when I read the stories about the allegations of sexual rape, I find that challenging because that was not his modus operandi, from my perspective.
But when you read about blowjobs, that would be consistent with kind
That
of
would
what
be
you...
consistent, as would masturbation, yes.
Did you talk to masseuses or women that either he was in a relationship with or who asked you about working with him? Did you tell them, yes, he likes blowjobs, yes, he'll masturbate in front of you? Like, did you have conversations with any of those, with women, about what Mr. Epstein liked or what would make him happy or things like that?
I don't have any memory of telling anybody about that. I think I may have joked, like saying, oh my God, you know, like from a Sex and the City scene, that, you know, he's, but not, I never instruct, the question you're asking me, sorry, let's just be clear. Did I ever instruct anyone how to pleasure Mr. Epstein? Your question, no.
And you said this earlier, but I want to just, you kind of said it on your own. I want to ask the question just so I make sure that there's no confusion. When you, over the years...
Sorry, can I just...
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I just want to say, the idea that I would have to explain to a woman how to satisfy Mr. Epstein is patently absurd, because he clearly was able to explain himself. He didn't need an interlocutor to explain what he liked. He's been doing this, obviously, or this, some version of this story his...
All right, so you can say that's patently absurd because he has the capacity to explain himself. But like, okay, have you ever introduced a friend to another friend? That friend can explain their likes and dislikes. They have the ability to, like, nothing's stopping them from doing it. But you may, in order to smooth conversation over, say, yo, this is my friend Jimmy. He likes Magic the Gathering, just like you. So it would not surprise me at all if, as a way to try to smooth things over conversationally, you would tell would-be victims of Epstein how to properly pleasure him. That doesn't... To say that's patently absurd is to ignore how people engage in conversations.
Whole life, and did not require any help from me.
Then, so did you ever observe him having sex with a masseuse, regular intercourse, not a blowjob, nothing else, where you either walked in or you were in the room?
I never saw Epstein have sex with any person.
And so how about oral sex? Did you ever observe a woman giving him oral sex, whether you were in the room or walked in or...
I never saw anyone give Epstein a blowjob, no.
But you said earlier you did see him masturbating in front of masseuses.
I don't know if I said that. I don't know.
Okay, sorry. I don't want...
Sorry,
let me ask the question. Sorry.
I'm sure I said
No, that's
that.
fair. That's fair.
I said I saw him... I'm sure I saw him in a... what some people could define as sexual contact. So somebody could not have their clothes, or topless, I would say, maybe. I could say that. If I saw him having masturbating when someone was at... I don't recall that. I don't have a specific memory of it. I'm sorry. But no, I'm not...
Okay.
I didn't say that.
Okay, I understand. That's fair. Sorry, I'm not...
That's okay.
Surely not trying to put words in your mouth.
No, that's absolutely not. It's fine.
So... and you said, I think, in passing, maybe not in passing, about you know, whether other people who travel with him would get massages, or so that would, when I say that, I'm referring mostly to the island or potentially New Mexico, but also at his Palm Beach residence or even in New York. Do you know? Do you have a list of names in your head or names that come to mind of people that you know did get massages when they were with Mr. Epstein?
No, there's no list. There's no list of people getting massages. I don't have... I can barely recall all the people. I can barely recall I struggle to recall actual people that I met, and I may have met a long time, but I had even forgotten that.
I struggle to
Mr.
recall
Kennedy or-
anybody. I can't think of anybody because I don't know which one of these people is going to be my lifeline out of here. So I can't imply that any of them did anything bad.
Yesterday, it just came to my mind now. So I don't have, and there's no list. There was never a list. There was no, or certainly none that I ever saw, none I ever heard of, none that I ever witnessed, none that there's no list. There's never been a list.
And you never heard Mr. Epstein talk about such a list?
Never.
And you never heard Mr. Epstein suggest that he had some sort of control over somebody because of what he knew about what they had done, or had photos of him?
I never heard him. No, I never heard him ask questions about that. I never heard him. So I've been present many times with masseuses. I never, who presumably could or maybe did massage somebody. I'm not saying whether they did. I'm not just in the context. I never heard him ask any question of any masseuse who may have given a massage to a friend who was on the island or in Palm Beach or anywhere else for that, any details about that massage. Like, does he have a funky foot? No, I never heard that. It would be weird.
And I think at one of the breaks today, your lawyer may have showed you something that just came out in the paper, I think this morning or last night, a letter that is attributed to you, associated with this birthday book from 2003 that we talked about yesterday. Did you see that letter?
I did see the letter.
Is that, in fact, it just look like your handwriting or something you wrote?
So I don't remember the letter.
Okay.
But it does look like my handwriting, and it does look like my name, and it looks like it could be real.
Kiwi Bird pointing out, but you just said you saw some of them topless with Jeff.
I don't remember it at all.
Yep.
Do you remember what the birthday book, as they're calling it, what it looked like how it was put together?
I do.
What do you remember about it?
I remember it was leather bound. I remember it being about yay big. It was big. Right,
So you're saying it looks like it's like over 12 inches, 14, 15 inches?
Yes, it was like sort of like a folio size, I guess, or something like that, and like this. And it was brown and thick, about this thick.
Okay.
And
so I understand.
on heavy stock paper.
Heavy stock paper, like 14 inches high,
That looks about right.
and then around like.
Well, A4's okay. We had A4 because it was done on heavy stock paper, but I can't remember if it was folio size paper or it could have just been A4.
Oh, I see. So it could have just been letter size, or it might have been legal size.
Yes.
Heavy stock paper.
Yes.
And the folks that submitted letters were given the stock paper, or how were the letters, or did you like glue or something the letters to the stock paper?
Every which way. Some were given the paper and they did their own thing. Some would send me some scrap of paper and I would put it on the thing. Some I didn't get because they went straight to Epstein and I was just told to put them in, like I said.
And how was it bound?
It went to a professional binder who did it like a book that you'd see in the library.
So like the glue that keeps a regular book, a novel that you would read together, it was bound that way?
I believe so. I don't think it was stitched, but I don't remember. I mean, it was professionally done by a professional bookbinder.
And then after you presented it, or after it was presented to him when he turned 50, did you see the leather-bound book? Did he keep it somewhere in particular?
It was in his bookcase in 71st Street.
In Manhattan?
In Manhattan.
And did you see it over the years until you stopped going to the Brownstone?
I saw it. I know I did see it because it was right behind his desk. And after I stopped going, I don't know what happened to it.
Do you remember being told or knowing where the book is now?
No, but when I received in Discovery those pages, I assumed that it had been found when either New York or the island was searched, and I assumed that the Southern District of New York had it.
But I think you said yesterday, but just to go over it again in case you remember anything differently, you recall seeing some of the letters in Discovery.
I do.
But you don't recall kind of seeing the leather book start to finish.
No, but remember, I didn't see all of Discovery because they were very clever about, I didn't receive all Discovery, period. And, in fact...
So the book containing the thing that Trump said he didn't make was seen by her very specifically. Yep. Sawara says, part of why I know the specific thing about A4 and lettering sizing is different because... okay. That's just an anecdote.
Very important items were not given to me at all, including witness testimony from grand jury.
So you don't know one way or the other whether it was part of Discovery. You just know that you didn't get it. It wasn't part of Discovery that was given to you.
Correct. But I'm absolutely sure that the Southern District of New York hid very important pieces of evidence from me.
Okay.
And I assumed that they leaked it, because where else would it be? If that's what it is, if it's true.
Okay. So, I'll say it to you, I've talked a little bit with your lawyer about it. I said to you yesterday that the purpose of what we did yesterday and today was exactly what we did, which is to have a conversation about Mr. Epstein and about you. And I think it's very challenging to talk about everything we talked about in 1.5 days or in just a period of hours. So I'll talk to Mr. Marcus about kind of what we're going to do next, if anything. I'm not being coy or I don't know yet. I don't know. So
the Immortal says, is it just me or is he being really dodgy? A little bit.
We have some work to do. We'll do it with your lawyers to the extent we have questions or follow-up. This has been very helpful. I think it was you who kind of said you wanted to talk, but we gladly accepted. So I do appreciate you being willing to meet with us, and I expect that we'll be in touch soon. All right. Yeah.
This concludes the recorded proffer interview of Miss Maxwell. The time is 12:05 p.m. on Friday, July 25th.
Okay. Said that might be the age of the tape recorder. Sawara points out people do hide evidence from defendants all the time, but I doubt that Maxwell had exonerating evidence that was hidden by the prosecution. Nakibri asked, why does this sound like it's recorded from the 80s? Yeah, it's just the age of the recorder, or just the recorder they're using. So, a lot of times for interviews like this... Oh, I just fucked up. A lot of times for interviews like this, what they'll do is they will have a separate recording device. They'll have cameras, and those cameras have their own microphones, usually boom microphones, but there's a separate recording device that is used as well. Effectively a tape recorder. And those are used because you can't always guarantee the audio quality of what you are going to get. So it could be the age of the tape recorder, could be the style of tape recorder that it is. Who knows? Who knows? All in all, the most telling part to me during all this, though, the most telling part to me is that earlier part, like Kay Fox pointed out, where she goes, and some members in your cabinet, and some members in the president's cabinet actually were visitors to the island. It's such a subtle thing, and it was not followed up on at all by the person interviewing her. But I think that piece feels to be the most damning to me of the stuff in here. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Limor Pinku, Love Bunny Games, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Aurora, Leela Ururaka, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it just a little bit.